and a hot minute. So, pretty much, what they ended up doing. Holly had her final say at the commitment ceremony. Um, they did show a couple of scenes where, right before the commitment ceremony, with the men talking to, I think that was Brent talking to the men, and then we saw, or was that Al? We got to talk about that. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, Sam and Al, they went backwards this week. But pretty much the spotlight this week was on Holly and Andrew. Um, no Andrew this week because he decided to walk out after the dinner party, saying that he is hightailing it out and going home. So, that's pretty much the huge elephant in the room. So let's go ahead and jump into this. We're gonna start off by talking about Miss Holly. Um, And we saw, of course, that Holly was, hold on, let me make sure I get that up there. Okay. Holly was by herself, which we all know why. She ended up taking her seat along beside her empty spot. And of course, John Aiken, who was the expert, confirms what everybody else pretty much always already knew. It wasn't, we didn't have any second thoughts about it. He was gone. But, he confirmed to the rest of the group that Andrew decided not to be a part of the experiment any longer. And Holly, however, reveal how, she told Andrew she wasn't feeling it after intimacy week, being able to see a future with him after all of his hurtful comments in the past. Of course, we know Andrew didn't take it as well, telling her how she needs to take accountability, she needs to apologize, and that she was a narcissist, and that, he was pretty much done. um so this letter was pretty interesting. And say hello, guys. I don't see any comments yet. What's you quiet bunch today? Yesterday, we were a big chatterbox, but yeah, let me know where you from, and we're gonna talk about this. So she pulled out this letter, and she addressed it because I thought this was gonna be something like she was telling some big, I don't know, secret that maybe nobody else knew, or that maybe Andrew had left something behind and she wanted to reveal it. This was all about, hey Mary, hey Mary. Glad Holly didn't continue to put up with the abuse. Absolutely. Um, yeah. But the thing is, I don't even think they should even try this second week though. We kind of touched on that yesterday, but yeah, it's pretty much over. Hey, Vanessa from London, Ontario, Canada. Wow. Welcome, welcome, welcome. But that letter actually that she pulled out was to address the other brides and grooms. And it was all because of what happened at that dinner party. What did you guys think about that? She talked about in that letter how she felt alone in the experiment, and that she walked in as the villain. Um, and of course, she was saying that she felt, that they didn't give her a chance. That Anthony took her voice away from her, silenced her. This was her voice, and she had, the right to speak. But they, she felt that they didn't give her a chance. What did you guys think about that? Um, because when she finished talking about that letter that she wrote to the group, she was definitely surprised by Olivia and Jackson, because the other couple seemed like they were now Team Holly, But Jackson says Holly did have people at the table who were trying to listen to her. Then we saw Celine jump in and speak up and, talk about how Andrew came in and everybody listened to him. And, Olivia then say her piece saying that from her perspective, Holly has not been 100% an adult. What do you guys think about that? Because yeah, Jackson and Olivia was not feeling Holly at all. Now, what I did find interesting is after what Olivia and Jackson had to say, the experts kind of asked Holly about her part in the relationship because I guess they say even though Andrew did a lot of things, she wasn't 100% perfect, and so the experts actually got Holly to acknowledge that, she didn't validate Andrew and that at times she was too overbearing and tried too hard by cooking meals. What do you guys think about that? Mary says Olivia and Jackson need to be concerned about themselves. Vanessa said too many people weighed in and judged. They were not a part of Holly's marriage. Here's my thing. I saw a ton of comments because I did post the episode earlier. And there were a ton of comments that I would say it was split down the middle because some people found Holly's behavior not appealing. And then of course there were some fans that actually was saying, Holly had every right to feel what she felt. Shamunda says, "Hey Shamunda, as I said, Olivia is not as sweet, and it wasn't all his fault," said Alyssa. Hey, Alyssa. Yeah, and I mean, I'm glad that, but it took, Olivia and Jackson. My thing is they do need to focus on their marriage, but I also think they could have been prompted by production just for, you know, a contrast. But the fact that the experts kind of pushed her to say, hey, well, wait a minute, what was your part in the demise of the relationship? We now get to the very end. And then, of course, she admitted that, she didn't validate or that she was too overbearing. A lot of fans I saw in my comment section said that she was high strung, a little bit too emotional. She should have left if she know that this man didn't want kids. She should have left when he spoke the way that he did to her. So it was a lot. Vanessa said they were both toxic for each other and not a good fit. That's absolute. I said that last week. I said they both need to go home. I mean, his behavior and her playing games, it was just, I don't even know why they stayed the additional week, especially when he wanted to leave in the commitment ceremony number one. He crossed out leave and put stay. And then she only said stay to see what his response was, not because she actually wanted to stay. So that's why I'm like, I understand she felt what she felt, but they both were not a good fit for each other. There was a lot of incompatibilities. Should he had spoke to her that way? No. Some of the things and how he described, if you're not sexually compatible with someone, that's a discussion. That's not where you're hurling insults by saying, sleeping with a one night stand is better than sleeping with you. It's a way to talk to somebody about changing up the dynamics in the bedroom. But all this other stuff, I mean, then of course she got upset. She was screaming, all of that. Mary said, had my husband said what Andrew said to Holly after having sex with his inflated ego, I would have been done. Yeah, I mean, she should have been done. She definitely should have been done. I mean, because the thing is that once somebody say, there's no coming back from that. I mean, the way he said it. Like I said, things in the bedroom could be worked out, but it was the way he said it, what words he used. It wasn't necessary to compare her with a one night stand, right? I mean, seriously. Why would you compare her with a one night stand? You know? But I mean, they should have left last week. I was so over them a week ago. But she did say the experiment was a reminder to believe in herself, and then of course she revealed her decision to leave, which why would you stay? I mean, there's no husband there. I mean, they're not doing any swaps or anything like that. So, yeah, exactly, Mary. Exactly. So I don't even know if you guys want to dwell on this situation cuz I know we got a lot of other stuff to talk about. But like I said, I was over these two last week. That first week, which was confessions week, it was all downhill. Crash, burn. They were crashing and burning day 2. After they had sex with each other, it was pretty much over. And then with him walking out, she was upset, yelling and screaming, and then he comes back and he tells her to take accountability, and she was saying that no, I acted this way because of you, and oh, you're a narcissist. Just let it go, leave it alone, move along. Vanessa says people can have a difference of opinion or experience and still be respectful. I was only them a while ago. Yeah, you can still be respectful. It's always great to be respectful, with what you have to say. He left, what a coward. He should have left last week. He should have left last week. They shouldn't have stayed together this past intimacy week. They should have been gone. Like I said, I mean, if you guys know that you didn't want to be together and this wasn't going to work, I mean, I get it. You're on a TV show. Sometimes production can be like, "Oh, can you stay another week? Let's just see what happens." Because that's what happened with Alyssa and Chris the previous week. Production told him to give her more time, even though they knew it was a catastrophe or train wreck waiting to happen. But production told him, not this past Wednesday because they're officially over, but the previous Wednesday, production told Chris to give Alyssa more time for those who watched the US version. So it wouldn't surprise me that maybe production, after Andrew left, said, "Hey, can you like give it another week? Just try some things out." And they should have just let them go anyway. Now, I find it interesting because later with a different couple, the experts said, "Well, we don't force anybody to be here." And then, of course, that whole radio show call that Celine did, about how she was forced to stay with Anthony in the hotel room, which everything on the show that we've seen, what, last week and the commitment ceremony today contradicts everything she said on that radio call. But it's pretty crazy. Vanessa said, "Don't I agree, but he left her holding the bag. That took courage for her." Yeah, it did take courage. Absolutely. Vanessa said, "Don't get me started on Alyssa." Oh, you guys, there is an interview because sometimes what happens when there's no more episodes or the person's left the show, they can get the interview with certain vloggers or bloggers or radio internet internet articles or whatever. There is an article that's out where Alyssa is trying to pretty much throw him under the bus now. It came out earlier today. I actually have the article. I was thinking about doing a review on it. So look out for that in a separate video because I don't want to deviate from the commitment ceremony. But yeah, Alyssa is not done with Chris. And I don't mean done as in being together. I mean done as in trying to kind of destroy his reputation. Let's see. Vanessa said, "Don't get me started." Shamanda said, "Heard somewhere that people who sleep with hundreds of people have very low self-esteem." I mean, that's possible, but we're in a time period right now that people are sexually creative, sexually free, sexually fluid. So, I mean, I don't want to judge on people's pasts, but we'll never know. I mean, that could be the possibility that he has a self-esteem issue, but there are people who just enjoy sex. So, but yeah, I'm glad they're gone. They just as much as I'm glad it's over with Chris and Alyssa on the US side, I'm glad it's over with Holly and Andrew. I am so over this with them, and the emotional upheavals and him being condescending and coming across rude. It's just it's trash to me. So, you know what? You go your way, he go his way, and move on with your life. And I can guarantee she probably are going to now start doing outside interviews. So I'll stay tuned for that, and I'll do a review on my channel of it. But pretty much that's it when it comes to what happened with with Holly. So let's talk about this other couple, which is Olivia and Jackson, because I wanted to move right into them because the facial expressions when Holly was talking, oh my gosh, they were the only, it's like they had a private conversation alone about Holly and Andrew, because everybody else in the room, I was thinking Olivia was the only one that had an issue with Holly and Andrew, or Holly. It seems like we got to hear in this episode Jackson has issues with her too. And I found that kind of interesting. I thought it was an Olivia thing, but I guess it's a Jackson and Olivia thing when it came to Holly. But yeah, a lot of people wasn't happy about Olivia's thoughts about Holly. You know, some people were saying that, kind of like one of the other comments, that somebody just posted saying that she's not as sweet as she look, she need to mind her own business, what do that type of thing. So I don't know, it's possible because she was the person, that's what I was saying yesterday when we did the review. I said she was the one girl who, at the meet and greet that the ladies had at the beginning of the season, that's a hey, I'm an ESPN fan, so if you happen to hear those notifications, that's what that is. It's a lot of basketball going on, and I'm a college basketball fan. So if that you hear that notification, that's what that is. But anywho, so Olivia was one of those girls who, at the beginning of the season, at the meet and greet, she was really timid and shy, and she's really insecure about her weight. She didn't know how she was going to feel amongst the other women. She was quiet. And so now, fast forward 13 episodes later, she got enough confidence pretty much to tell Holly that you're acting pretty much immature. I'll just say it like that. She pretty much called Holly very immature. And then to hear Jackson chime in, saying, "Hey, I wanted to talk to you and get your side of the story, but you didn't want to talk about it, or you moved your chair and dragged it all the way to the other end of the table." So I don't know. It was pretty interesting. Shamunda says they definitely had a conversation. Of course, back at home, Olivia probably came back and was fussing about what happened at the dinner party with Jackson. Of course, her and Jackson are so connected with each other that he probably was like, "Yeah, oh yeah, that's what happened." You know how that can happen with conversations. Production has portrayed her as such an innocent girl, but she's human. That's true. So, Alyssa, do you think she is not as sweet as they want her to be portrayed? What do you think? Um, but I will say that she definitely made a switch in her personality from what we can remember early in the season to what we have seen of her lately. I mean, I understand that sometimes when you're in a relationship, and especially when you're feeling secure and validated and things like that, you can gain a ton of confidence. And she definitely has a ton of confidence. Um, but now don't take that over into being judgmental of somebody else. You might not like what you see. Okay, fine. But she called her immature. Yeah, I was surprised by that. Alyssa says, yeah, like I think she has faults. Oh, of course. Absolutely. Of course. But I mean, it's like I guess they had to, maybe it was production force, because with this particular couple, everything has been sunshine and rainbows. And to have them now speak out on Holly, I guess it gave them a little bit fire and it got people talking about Olivia. So maybe that's what it was. Alyssa say, but she gave Holland a genuine. Yeah, she did. So I did appreciate that because her words were pretty harsh. She acknowledged that Holly was hurt by what she said. And then, of course, when the experts asked Olivia about what she said, she instantly left that conversation and went straight to apologizing to Holly. So that was pretty cool. Holly showed about herself. That's mature. Yeah, because she could have left too. She could have left. She could have been like, okay, he's gone. I'm gone. Let's just move on. But yeah, it took a lot of guts to show up by herself. I think the apology was because she was called out. Okay, so do you not think that the apology was genuine? Do you think it was forced by her being called out, Shamunda? What do you think? Let me know in the chat section. But I mean, other than that issue, I mean, there's nothing going on with them. Um, it was their turn to reveal their relationship. Mary says she agree. Okay. They've been pretty smitten with each other. They have definitely been sexually active. That's one thing that they did mention, especially after Alessandra delivery, which was that box of toys. Definitely kind of opened up his mind. Um, the thing is, Jackson says he's never played with that kind of stuff, but Liv's a good teacher. So she might be timid and sweet, but obviously Liv been doing some things. If she was able to teach Jackson what to do with them toys. So I thought that was cool. Now she did say that how great of a guy that Jackson is that she wished that her father could have saw him. And that actually that kind of brought tears to my eyes too. I was watching that because she misses her dad. And she said her dad and Jackson would have been best buds. He would have been so excited for her. But they ended up ultimately staying. Alyssa said, I love how open they are to the experiment. Yeah, and you know what? That's the thing is if you sign up for something like this and you're going to try to see the experiment all the way through, you have to be open. You have to be open. So it was good that Jackson he wasn't like maybe Mitch, like, why we gotta do that? Why we gotta try that? I don't want to do that. We don't want to do that in front of the cameras. No, he's definitely open. Because remember, I think she blindfolded him, and I guess she had these little vibrating things on his chest or something, if I can remember, and he was shaking and giggling and stuff like that. So he being open, he was most definitely open to the experiment. But they both wrote down on their little card stay. So that was no big surprise there. Not at all. So I mean, I see them going long term. I said this yesterday. I said this in the previous lives and in my recaps. I see them going long term. I don't see, unless there's something come up later in the week that of course shakes up everything. I don't see no problem with these two so far. So we'll definitely have to see where they go. Let's just say, yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to seeing where these two go. All right, let's move on to some of this other stuff that was going on. So we're going to talk about this particular couple, Selina and Anthony. Now, there is a lot of contradiction going on because I said in yesterday's live and in the video that I did a recap on earlier this week. And if you've missed the video, there is a recap that I did of Celine calling into a random radio station, trashing pretty much production and trashing Anthony. So, for those that live in Australia, you probably have heard of this. It was sent to me by another viewer, a fan of mine on my Instagram. And so when I saw it and I mean when I heard it, I was like, "Oh my gosh." So a lot of people when I posted it, I saw it in the comments that folks didn't believe her. She's just trying to destroy his character, trying to make him look bad, she's trying to save herself. Hey David, what's up Dave? How are you? Welcome. But Celine, I don't it's like being gaslit because you hear one thing and then there's a whole nother different reality. So she said in one of the captions on her Instagram of this particular picture, this is the picture from her Instagram. She said, "Oh my God, we had a much better interaction this week." Right? And so I was like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" You had a better interaction because what you said on the radio station was totally different. It was totally different. David said, yes, she complained about production and said they edited her to look bad. Exactly. She also said that she was forced to stay with Anthony and how production forced her to stay um, into that whole process. And of course, they actually heard from the production team, and the production team was pretty much like, no, people are free to leave, they're free to talk to counselors, all of that. So for her to be one way, because she looked totally comfortable, either she's a great actress or she compartmentalizes and live in two different realities, because what she said on that radio show or station is totally opposite of what we got this week and even at this commitment ceremony. Because the couple, talking about how they dug themselves out of the crisis mode, they turned it around, moved back in together, and decide to stay in the experiment. They decide to even stay another week. So what is Celine talking about? It just doesn't make sense. So I how horrified she was to be in that apartment and they forced everything on her and she's acting a different way on TV. Yeah. Mary said she was called out big time last week, so this week she's putting on a different face. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. At this point, I don't believe anything that come out of her mouth. When somebody give me two totally contradictory stories, pretty much your credibility is out the door. Because nothing lines up. It's like polar opposites. What you display on TV versus what you telling somebody on a radio show. Come on. And you stay a third week. So we're getting ready to go in week number 3, and you write down stay. I mean, seriously. So, and Anthony looks relaxed and calm. He seemed like he's happier, because he was miserable. He wanted away from Celine, but then, of course, they end up staying in the first commitment ceremony. So, Mary, you're 100% right. Yeah, she's definitely putting on a big different face. Whole personality, whole persona, everything is just different. It's just crazy. That's why with these shows I take it with a grain of salt. I enjoy the real romantic relationships that come out of it, because even on the US side, we have had a total of 12 marriages and they're still together. Some of them have babies now. Like I said, Woody and Amani, they got a baby on the way. So I look forward to those. But at the end of the day, it's still TV. And some of these people are not here for the right reasons. They're here to, build up their followings and things like that. And I guess if they get a husband and a wife in the process, good. If not, they still got the notoriety. David said the experts also talked them into staying too. Yep, that doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. I was just saying that about Chris and Alyssa 2 weeks ago. They told Chris, give her more time, even though he knew she didn't want him, and she knew that she didn't want him. You know, so yeah, we even heard production tell him to give her more time, and I'm like, why? Why? It's useless. And sure enough, what happened this past Wednesday episode? They're over. Turn the keys in, out the door. And Alyssa has already started interviewing with, certain online outlets about, um, trying to pretty much discredit or destroy his credibility, because some of the things that she said in that article was crazy. It didn't make sense, but it was very outlandish what she had to say about Chris. Um, yeah, Mary, it is about ratings. David says Holly is in art school and been going to drama school and audition. That doesn't surprise me, especially being that she could turn on the waterworks real quick. Doesn't surprise me. So, I mean, and I've heard that. I've heard that she's an actress. Um, I found that out last week. So it was just really it just saddens, the situation when people are, like coming on looking for love and things like that. And some of these folks just want exposure. So yeah, it's crazy. But this whole Celine turnaround is like ridiculous. And what she had to say on that radio show, ridiculous. So isn't Andrew an actor? Andrew is supposedly a motivational speaker. And to yeah, I that's what I heard. I heard Mary, he's a motivational speaker. That's what he is. And then yeah, Anthony is a wrestler. Yep. Yeah, Anthony is a wrestler. So I mean, I'm not sold on Selena and Anthony. Yeah, they look like they're trying to make progress, but I don't see nothing with these two. Yep, I don't see nothing with these two. Yeah, Anthony is the wrestler and Andrew is the motivational speaker. Wait a minute, what are you saying, Dave? Because I thought Andrew was the motivational speaker. He even said that in one of the episodes. And I do know that Anthony is in wrestling. So okay, let us move on to this couple, and that is Samantha and Al. Now these two have been struggling. These two have definitely been struggling. And they open up about their struggles, particularly around this whole drama situation they had with that 5-minute kissing task. Um, Sam wanted Al to show initiative outside of the challenge rather than being, told to do so with a piece of paper. Yeah, I mean, I felt bad for him too because he's trying. He's definitely trying. And for Sam, it's like, okay, it's like Sam is saying, hey, what'd you say? I felt bad for Al. Yeah, I felt bad for him too. I really did. And so, it's just so unfortunate that Al keep coming up on this brick wall because when he wants to do something with Sam said, no, I don't want to do that. But then at the same time, Sam wants him to do some things on his own initiative, and then she get mad when he doesn't. He like Al said, I can't read you. He can't read minds. She's like, I want you to come after me and take the initiative and all of that. But then when he does it, she don't want to do it. And she don't want him to be told to do it. Okay, so how is he going to know it's okay? Sam is the reason a lot of guys film it before. Yes, I know what you're saying. That's why this whole thing with consent is a huge thing right now. I even heard they have something called consent apps. And it's a scary situation because if just say he went in for a kiss or he grabbed her and she didn't want that in that moment, she could easily turn around and say, I didn't tell you to do that. You touched me and you shouldn't have. It's not okay. But then when he doesn't do anything, she's mad that he doesn't take the initiative. It's like there's a no-win situation here for him. I mean, either you want me to be affectionate with you or you don't. Al is really trying, respecting her, and she isn't seeing this. No, nope, she isn't. And it's so unfortunate because it seems it's one thing if he continued to stay this young guy who was silly and, like he was when he first came in. And just like the expert said that um he doesn't even seem like his happy bubbly self anymore. He doesn't feel like he's being him because he don't know how to move. It's like he's going to be walking around on eggshells when it comes to intimacy. They probably have other fun things that they do together, but when it comes to intimacy, Sam has to say, give him some leeway to show you affection. I mean, you can't, when he tries to, you can't say no. And when he doesn't do anything, then you mad that he doesn't. That is so crazy to me. Um, Al is sweet and is sad. Yes. Shamunda says, I don't think she's into him. That may be possible. I don't think she still got over the fact that he has not been well, he didn't come from a place where he did things for himself and his age. But he's trying. You got to see him doing the work. You got to give him the room to do the work, and when he does the work, you got to acknowledge it. Um, I think Sam like to control the situation. That's possible. However, if you control the situation, at the same time, you got to tell him what you want. If you want to control the situation, tell him what you want. Don't get mad when he don't do anything. He don't know what you want. If you want to be hugged, if you want to be cuddled, if you want to be kissed, if you want to be have a foot rub, there's nothing wrong to say, hey babe, can I get a hug? Or hey babe, can I get a foot rub or something? And don't get mad that you have to ask. Now when he gets comfortable, then he's gonna know, oh, okay, you know what? You looking like you need a foot rub right now. Let me give you a foot rub. And then Sam can say, yes, I do. Come on, I'm going to enjoy it. Whatever. Um, Mary says he tried to kiss her on the honeymoon and she rejected him. Yeah, she did. She sure did. And it's just it's so unfortunate because I feel so sorry for him. Um, and she said he said that no, that was Sam, that she made a scene and that she told him that I'm not going to sit here and make out with you because you haven't earned it. What do you mean he hasn't earned it? She made that, remember that whole thing when they were sitting on the couch? She said the reason why she's not going to make out with him is because he hasn't earned it. So what does he have to do to earn that from you? That makes no sense to me. Because from where we're looking, he's definitely putting in work. I mean, am I missing something? Cuz he's putting in the work. So for her to say that, it just doesn't make sense. Let's see. Poor guy has no idea what to do next. He's like a little puppy. So like a little puppy, so full of love for her. Okay. Alyssa said he's trying, and that's all you can ask for from a stranger. Earn it. That sounds like she is talking to a child. Yeah, I know. It's the entitled nature of ladies when they're not so into you. I mean, what does he need to validate to her that he's worthy now of getting her affection? She told him to learn how to do laundry. He's doing that. She told him, I should say, I'm sorry. She told him you need to know how to cook for yourself. I think we saw opportunity where he tried to cook. I mean, what's the problem? I would be done after that reaction. Yeah, I think a lot of guys probably would have been. He's putting in the work, but she just doesn't want him. That's the truth. That's probably what it is. I think she's over this whole situation. Even though he's jumping through hoops to try to get that affection and for her to let her guard down, she's not she's not 110% interested in this guy. I mean, she is 2 years older than him. She's more established in her career, but I mean, he's a blue collar guy. He's 25, so he's 2 years younger than her, but the thing is, I don't think mentally she's giving him a chance. And it's just so unfortunate because of the fact that, he's trying. She said she didn't want to kiss him on camera, but goes on this show. That's what I don't understand. And we'll talk about that when it comes to Mitch and Ella, because Mitch was saying the same thing about doing stuff on camera. It's like, why did you come on a TV show where millions of people around the globe is going to see it? So you should know that that stuff is going to be on camera. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Um, Re- Shamanda said they all have watched the show. They know the concept. Time is limited. Yeah. Yeah. They're in a short window of time to get to know each other and see eventually if they want to stay married. So for them to come on here and act like, oh, I don't want to be on camera when I'm kissing you, or, I don't, stop. Why did you come on this show? You know, but the thing is that, Sam even said after she made that statement that he thinks that she doesn't even like me. And that goes back to what you guys are saying in the comments, is that maybe she's just not into him. He's picking up on that too. He thinks that she doesn't like him. So, uh, and my thing is, they still, after all of that, decide to stay together. And it's like, okay, if this is going to work, she gotta allow and acknowledge, allow him the room to, do these things, part of what, the experiment provide, and be the man you want in a relationship. And then when he does it, acknowledge it. Because for her to say he hasn't earned it, she's not acknowledged anything that he's done so far. And that's just so unfortunate, for Al, you know. But for them to decide to stay into this experiment, it's hopefully they'll get better this week. Hopefully, it'll be a situation where she'll allow him the room to move and be able to say what's on her mind and stop trying to have him read her mind so he can move accordingly. It just doesn't make sense. Let's see. There was another comment. Even a blind man can see she doesn't want him. The others were just lying, saying she likes him, so that they stay. Yeah, and see, the other thing is, it's one thing about the whole shoey thing. That definitely shows frat boy type of thing. From what they would describe. But he's now not even looking like he's looking like a former person of himself, and not as in the healthy, happy sense of it. He looks sad. And when you lose a part of that bubbly personality that you have because of what's going on with the partner you're with, that's not good. At first, I thought he'd be the big ego guy, but he is the sweetest. Yeah, because he's so open. I don't know who's more open, Jackson or Al. Both of those guys are so open to this process. And I mean, fortunately for Jackson, Olivia and him are just, they're moving in the right direction. Whereas when it comes to Samantha, it's like tug of war. It's tug of war for these two. You know, um, I don't know. Maybe do you guys think that they could have put somebody different, or do you think him and Sam can figure this out? What do you think? Because if she doesn't change, she's gonna drive him insane. And I would hate to see him get burned in a situation like this with what he's going through with Samantha, and then get back out there in the world, especially since this is his first real relationship. This is his first relationship. So this is definitely going to make an imprint of what he thinks relationships are going to be like. Hopefully they can figure this out, you know? But they decided to stay together despite all the problems that they have. You know, I guess we'll see. Um, it's more of Sam's problem. Al is trying. Yeah, Alyssa. Hey, Cindy. I want to thank you for uploading the show. You are so welcome. You are so welcome. It actually doesn't show into England. Oh, okay. So you're getting it like a day ahead, I guess. Wait a minute. Now it's still Sunday for you guys. I'm in the US. I'm in the central time zone. So it is still Sunday early evening here. Um but I don't know about, what time is it in the UK? David says she'll do it for the camera. Yeah. Mhm. That makes sense. Mary says if she realized what a great guy he is, they'll make it, but if not, no. Yeah. She got to see what this man is doing. Um DI4JD, there's no way this will work. She has been closed off to him since the beginning, and his age is a big thing to her. Yeah, I mean, she gives like these little glimpses that she might be okay, but then she goes right back. So you might be right. Maybe she's just trying to get through the season. And at the end of the day, they decide to just go their separate ways. But they decided to stay. So I'm looking to see what Sam is going to do this week, if she's going to allow him to show her the man he could be, and when he does it, acknowledge the work he's putting in. Shamunda says 10:50 p.m. Oh, okay. So you're probably about 6 hours ahead of me because over here, like I said, it's 4:53. I doubt it will work in real life, but definitely for TV, they make it look like it's working. Okay. 2 years is no big deal. Yeah, it isn't. I know people that, especially with the woman older than the man, of course, I know relationships that last a long time where the woman was a couple years older than the guy. So it can work, but she has to want to allow it to work. So, but I don't like long term. I don't see it happening. Mm-mm. Like you said, they might put it, you know, put up for the TV cameras. David says 8:53 a.m. in Australia. Well, good Monday morning to you, David. Did I interrupt your breakfast? Because while we're eating dinner, still stuck in Sunday, you probably having breakfast over there on a Monday morning. You at work? Let me know. All right. Let's move on to this silly couple, which is Dominica and Jack. David says for now it's still basic attraction issues. When they get to the outside world and things like finances and all comes in, it'll be tough. Yep, that is true. And the other thing is he still in that party lifestyle because right now they're in a bubble. So is I don't know if he's a party type guy. It seems like it with the shoey thing. So is she going to be able to deal with who he is on the outside? Maybe he'll turn it down now. He's putting in the work to be a husband now. Maybe when he get outside and if they stay together, he'll have to make some adjustments. David says for now it's still basic attraction issues. Then when they get on the outside world, things will be yeah. Mary says if it doesn't work, a bunch of women will go. Of course, if it doesn't work with Al and Sam, his DMs are going to be filled with women. Oh yeah, I figure you said 8:53 in the morning. Yeah, I figured you listening to me at work. If it's that early over there, I don't want to get you in trouble. So you must have your headphones on and typing at the same time. I don't know what you do for a living, but I'm glad you're taking the time out to listen to me over here. All right, let's talk about Jaminica and Jack. They really didn't have much in this commitment ceremony. They definitely had a steamy intimacy week, and Dominica pretty much tell the experts that Jack is pretty much perfect. David said he's a plumber. Oh, wait a minute. Shamanda says, "Oh, hey, Jacinta, welcome, welcome." Shamanda says mom has to stop spoiling him first. Yeah, that's the other thing. If they stay together on the outside, um, is mom going to want to take a step back? Because mom does everything. Is mom going to get along with Sam? That's going to be interesting. Because if mom feels that she does everything for Al, mom probably also think his wife is going to need to do everything for Al as well. And I don't think that's going to sit well with Sam. What do you guys think? Mary said, I love how both of them rooted for Holly. Yeah, well, Dominica is the type of person she see both sides. Now, she kind of on the Celine thing, she jumped to the conclusion, but then she finally got to hear Anthony's side, and I think she backed up and realized that, oh, I didn't hear the whole thing. So I guess now when it came to Holly and Andrew, she made sure that she listened to both sides that time around. David said, It's all right. I'm a chemical engineer, but not busy Monday morning yet. Okay. All right. Just making sure. Just making sure. But yeah, pretty much for these two, I don't see an issue. They're pretty strong. They're solid right now. Now, I did see the previews for this week. They supposed to get into a little tiff. So I'm curious to see what that's about because look like Dominica's talking crazy about Jack. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty darn interesting what that's about this week. David says she's not gonna baby him like his mama, so that would be interesting if they try to make it work outside of the show. Yeah, that would be. Rebel Rebel Jade's Fire. I like that name. Looks Dominica is going to start up. Yeah, I saw that. I sure did. I know what you're talking about. I saw the previews. Yes, look like they are going to, it's going to be Dominica running her mouth saying all these crazy things about Jack. He's going to get pissed off. So they're going to have a little tiff this week. So I'm curious on what that's going to be about. But so far for Intimacy Week, oh yeah. I mean, they had the original red light issue, with the sex on the menstrual cycle thing. It got past that. She wanted more sex from him, and then they did the strip pole thing, and like we were saying in yesterday live chat, looked like Jack knew what he was doing on that strip pole. But Dominica definitely knew what she was doing. Obviously, she taken some classes or something. But other than that, so far, no big issues. As long as Jack can keep up with her sexual appetite, then they probably gonna be fine. So it wasn't really too much, but I do like the fact that she did listen to both sides this time when it came to Holly and Andrew. David says Jack is going to get tired of Dominica's mouth and gossipy attitude very soon, plus her confrontational sex demand. Shaking my head, he's not feeling it. Yeah, because yeah, she's very, very sexually high strung. Can he keep up with that? Because remember, I don't know if you guys remember what she said. She said this past week that that was the demise of her marriage. She was the one that was only married for 2 months, and then she realized that she wanted to get out. I think I did on one of my recaps. They did an article on her and that particular marriage, and then she mentioned this past week in one of the episodes is that was the reason why her last marriage didn't work, is because of the fact of the whole lack of sexual, you know, the appetite situation. Mary says, I noticed the experts warn all of them this could be a tough week. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Plus, they're bringing two new brides and grooms, two sets of new brides and grooms on this week. So I don't know. I'm curious to see what's coming up with these two. I mean, we lost one, and we lost one couple, and we're gaining two. So that's going to be fun to see, what's the deal with these new couples. But, other than that, nothing else this week. But like Dave said, yeah, how long can Jack keep up with Dominica? Because the girl is on fire. And she wants it when she wants it all the time. So, yeah, she's on fire right now. Um Mary says yes. Looks like one new bridezilla. Yeah, the one preview. I think did that girl take off her makeup like 2 or 3 times, and the guests are waiting for her. The husband is waiting for her. Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, let's move on to this couple because this couple definitely surprised the heck out of me. And I guess this couple also surprised you guys. Selena and Cody. Um, some people wasn't happy about what they found out because these two consummated their marriage this week. So some people in my comment section was like, "How could you sleep with a man who said that they're not attracted to you because of your look and your race?" So I don't What do you guys think about that? Hey Sandra, hey Sandra, how are you? Yes, good evening to you as well. What do you guys think about that? Because I mean, they look like they were pretty darn happy. It seems like they've overcome their attraction issues. Um, Selena said that, and she told us to the experts that she let go of past conflicts and that the intimacy week challenges helped them. Again, they consummated their marriage. She said that after the dinner party, they came home and had sex. And of course, everybody applauded them. Um, Jacinta says, I still think Cody is a red flag in several ways. And I think he's trying to save face deep down. Yeah, but going to the extent of sleeping with her or them sleeping with each other, because of course she allowed, him to be intimate with her. Um, I think they did the right stuff to move on. Yeah, I mean, if he's honestly truly interested in her and has gotten past the attraction issues and everything, and they're moving forward. I mean, one of the experts was like, keep having sex. That's a bit sensitive. I think his delivery was the problem and they overcame that issue. So I think they decided to move forward. Perhaps should have waited a bit before sex. That's a good point. Rebel said it would be difficult for me to move on from that. Yeah, a lot of people. Vanessa said I couldn't do it. I think she has low self-esteem, and I agree, has many red flags. Yeah, I'm surprised that they actually got over that quickly. I'm really shocked by that. I mean, and remember, there's a lot of stuff we don't see. There's a lot of filming where we see small snippets. They do hours and hundreds of hours of filming, and we don't get everything. So unless there's some things that they've been bonding on to help them get past this, I don't see how they did it. Honestly, I don't see how they did it. But it's possible, I mean, and they decided to stay. So obviously they're going to keep having sex, but a lot of the fans are not happy about this at all. I didn't see any like, oh yeah, great, they learned to get past it, they moved on. I didn't see a lot of that from the fans, but it's going to eventually manifest itself on whether or not they're actually truly trying to make this work. But that would be tough. Um, Mary says a lot of time for men it's flowers and candy. Jacinta says they got over it because she was willing to try and just overlook it, which is good bits, but still, I don't know, something off about Cody. Yeah, we need to see more of Cody's interaction because we definitely see a lot of Selena's where she's really trying to put in the work to make this happen with the relationship. But I need to see more of Cody and where his head is. Vanessa said maybe it happened with lots of wine. Girl, you crazy. That's funny. David says it's great that they did the work to move on, but sex could have come on a bit later. Yeah, that's true. They should have put into the relationship and built a good foundation, and then if sex happened later, yeah, that makes sense. Mary, you agree on that too? I definitely agree with that. You know, because to they've only been together at what at this point, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? So yeah, David always come up in here preaching with good stuff. Good stuff. Shamanda said, I'll be the only one disagreeing here. I think this will work. Okay. All right, Shamanda. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Like I say, if there's some things that we're not seeing that, we don't get to see on air, and they've been making a deeper connection together, and he's really learning more about his wife and really enjoying her. He's attracted to a life, and really like her. It's possible. Alyssa, you too? You think it'll work? Well, we'll definitely see. You know, we will most definitely see whether or not, because I mean, we did get to see her cut his hair and, him being, I guess, building some form of connections with the two of each other. But, I need to see more of Cody and how he's really building a deeper connection. Yeah, they might be right, Mary. We'll have to wait and see. Jacinta said, "Oh, I think it can work, but the real question is, should it? I have doubts about whether it really should or should not." Okay. David says it could work, but don't be giving up the goods so quickly. If the demand is not being met, she wanted more emotional connection, but we didn't see that on before the sex. That's true. That's why I'm saying I'm wondering if they're bonding on deeper levels that on what we don't see. Because sometimes they don't air everything. Some stuff, they have us thinking one thing, and that's what happened with Karen and Miles. For those that watched the US version of Married at First Sight season 11, that was what's happening with Karen and Miles. They made Karen out to be this mean, emotionless type person, but behind the scenes, we found out from Miles that she was the one that was so overly affectionate. She was always touching him and she was giving him all these gifts, but the show never let us saw any of that. So anything is possible. I would like to see if they can, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Like I said, I got to see more of Cody and the deeper connection he has built with Selena. But ultimately, they both wrote to stay. Uh, Jacinta says some of these couples try too hard to make incompatible matches work. I know it's just the beginning for them all, but still, sometimes the small, obvious things in the start wind up being the most true. Well, that's what I was saying about Holly and Andrew. If they're not sexually compatible and she wants children now, that should have been the end of it. Obviously, he wasn't willing to work through the sex issues, and she wants a baby now at 36. So that should have been a cut it off, let's move on, let's, find somebody else because the core values didn't match. But with Selena and Cody, I need to see more. I need some depth. We've seen everything pretty much, as we know, more from Selena, but I kind of want to see more from Cody. You know, that's just my thoughts on that. But other than that, they end up saying yes, they would stay together. And the experts told them to continue having sex. So, David, they want them to keep sexing each other, even though I know your thoughts is it's a little bit too soon. Just a little bit. All righty. Let's go to these two. We're going to talk about Ella, and Mitch. And yeah, the experts were quick to jump on this. See, and this is one thing I wish I could trade the Australian experts for the US experts. Oh my gosh. And John Aiken doesn't play with any of these cast members. I wish he was over here. Now I kind of am sort of a fan of Pastor Cal. I don't know about Dr. Viviana and Dr. Pepper. I guess I'm 50-50 on them. Keep Dr. Pastor Cal, but bring John Aiken over here. Can we borrow? Hey, my Australian listeners, can we borrow John Aiken, please? I appreciate it. But he was definitely quick to bring up their heated confrontation at the dinner party where we saw Ella putting her needs on the table and Mitch dismiss them, that is not cool. Not cool. When your spouse is saying, "Hey, I need this from you. I would like to do this." That's what communication is for in a relationship, right? And your partner shuts you down and dismiss it, that's a problem. And I mean, what John Aiken told him was what he saw wasn't brutal, it was condescending. And because he said it was blunt. He said, I know I'm being blunt and direct. And they were like, no, no, no. You're being brutal and condescending. What do you guys think about these two? Mary, you stopped watching the US? It doesn't surprise me. Rebel says, I don't like any of the US experts. Oh, wow. You know, what about Pastor Cal? And then David. These two are interesting. I like the confidence and poise Ella demonstrated when Mitch was talking trash. Yeah, yeah, she definitely keeps it calm. Dr. Pepper was on one season of the UK version. Really? Okay, I didn't know that, Rebel. David said, yeah, the male expert is great. The Aussie experts always hold them accountable because they know Aussie online community don't play and it would hurt their business if they don't speak up. And that's the difference over here because we don't get, like, we see the experts on Australia's side watching and they call stuff out and we get to see them every week on commitment, ceremony or whatever. Over here, we see them, one might visit, the other might visit in probably 2, 3 weeks later. And then we'll see Dr. Pepper maybe slide in the end. And it's like, and especially when people like Chris and Alyssa was having a crisis, where were the experts? I know they don't normally go on the honeymoons, but they should have been there. Mitch and Andrew, same ego problem. Oh, you think so? Okay. Um, but even with all of that, Ella says that, she's still becoming closer and closer to Mitch. And I'm like, okay, this man does not want to address or, see your needs as valid, but you still feel that you are getting closer and closer. And Mitch turned around and say, I'm loving every day. I'm like, okay, so they ended up staying together. And then they had to actually tell Mitch to kiss his wife. So this kiss that we're seeing right here on this picture was forced. But here's the thing though. This doesn't jive with what I saw with Mitch and Ella in the beginning because they pretty much wanted to all they pretty much wanted to do is stay in bed every day with each other, if you know what I mean. Then we got to see Mitch doing, like I said, the whole handstand in the shower thing. Why weren't you afraid to be on camera then, but now you're afraid to make out with your wife and kiss on camera? Doesn't make sense. Why didn't the experts grill Mitch like Andrew? That's a good point. I think they could have went deeper. Of course, he loving every day. He getting them draws every time. David, you a mess. Oh, that's hilarious. Mary said, I'm calling BS on these two. So tell me why I want to know. Give me the details on what you think is the BS. Jacinta says, I think she has limerence and magical hope thinking for him because she likes him so much. That's possible. She really likes this guy. I think Australians and the British don't beat around the bush when it comes to calling people accountable. Well, they definitely need to do that over here. David said, oh, she's talking to Alyssa. I felt so too. Okay. Jacinta, I don't understand where this not wanting to kiss is coming from all of a sudden because he didn't have a problem. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because when they first came on the show, he had no problem kissing. None. He had no problem being naked on the show. He was the only character I think we saw that we actually saw his bare behind. So you can show your bare behind on camera, but you don't want to kiss? That doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand. Okay, yep. David, please stay a mess. Oh my goodness. Yes, David is a mess. He gonna stay a mess. And he keep coming over here with his mess, which is cool. Um, yep, David, keep it coming. All of you guys, I enjoy all of you and your comments. We have a good time over here. We have a good time over here every weekend, or in David's case, on Mondays. So, but yeah, I don't know. Did production push him to say, hey, maybe act like you don't want to kiss her anymore? It just doesn't make sense. I could see if he was like this from the beginning, then it would make sense. But he turned to an overtly open person to I'm shy on camera. It doesn't make sense to me. And guys, let me know if you know, see this couple is going far. Cause I don't know if I mean, unless this is them acting, there's BS, there's production drama they're trying to create with these two. At first, my high hopes was for them. David said, when you make a guy feel like you ready to go freak, he go along with it quickly. Yeah, that's definitely true for a lot of guys. Star, hi Star. That's a new person on the chat. Hi Star. He got what he wanted and lost interest. Oh, that's a good point. So you think because hey, so you know what, Star, that make a little bit of sense because on one of the episodes last week he said something about her in bed and how he needed her to be more passionate or something. Remember that? Um, it was either episode 11 or 12. I forgot about that. So that might be the case, Star. That's a good point. Mary says, I still think Mitch is going to prove the experts wrong come hell or high water. He might. I feel like they may stay together, then break up after the season. That's possible. Mitch is a player and he does not want to really open up to a real relationship. I don't see this lasting after the honeymoon. Yeah, they're both very attractive people. So it wouldn't surprise me if they don't stay together that they would definitely have, a huge social media presence. Yes, he did. Exactly, Star. Yes, he did. I remember him saying something last Tuesday or Wednesday episode that he did not find that she was passionate enough or something. Jacinta says, I think this stuff could be scripted with Mitch or he's doing bait and switch on her because he is more shallow than he let on. That's possible. Shamanda said he says she should be more adventurous in bed. I knew it was something. I figured as much as we would talk about it, we would figure it out. See, that's why I like talking to you guys because somebody is going to really bring it out to the forefront. I knew it was something. Okay, so that goes back to your original conversation, Star, where he got the and then he also talked to about that. He actually said, you know, I mean, that's what we saw with Wilson, that the college was so and now this is it because the TV relationship, that's where the relationship is. That's the sort of time where I don't know if you guys have heard that because now you feel like another comparing them to somebody else, and it's very destructive. Um, so what you think about you bring about Mitch is going to make this negative self-fulfilling prophecy if you don't change the the skeptic attitude. The mic is muffled. Oh, can you hear me now? Is that better? Can you guys hear me? Drop it. Okay, I'm back clear. Okay, cool. Thanks for letting me know. I don't know what happened, guys. That was crazy. But I'm back clear. Okay, good. Good, good, good. All right. But what I was saying, I was reading Jacinta's comment. What you think about what you bring up about Mitch is going to make this a negative self-fulfilling prophecy if he doesn't change his skeptic attitude. Yep, that's true. That is so very true. Some of these guys looking for a permanent lady of the night or a wife. Yeah. What are they actually here for? Are you looking for a wife or are you just looking, for somebody to sleep with? And see, here's my thing with um the sexual compatibility. And I've said this before. There's ways to fix that if both people are open. If he had a conversation with Ella and says, "Hey, instead of saying I'd rather you be as adventurous as my exes," that's not a good way to do it. He could have said, "Hey, you know what? Let's bring some more fun stuff into the bedroom. Are you open to trying some things?" Then yeah, just like Olivia and Jackson. Jackson allowed Olivia to teach him some things in the bedroom that he never experienced. So it's a way to address that. Um, Rebel says some of these people are just looking for followers. That's true. And I can guarantee you with these two, because they're a very attractive couple, they won't have a problem with building their social media platforms. But as I was saying with the sexual compatibility thing, that's something that can be changed. It's hard to hear. That's a hard statement to say you suck in bed. It is. I mean, and I don't want people to go and say something like that to their partner. It's just not the appropriate thing to say. But it's a way to do that. If you feel like, okay, this is not usually what I expect, then what you do is bring a solution to the table instead of an accusation to the table. You know what I mean? So have it where, you might bring some fun toys or you create a sexual experience and tell the person what you like. You don't know these people. These people are new to you. And if you like something done, let them know. You can't, they're not mind readers, right? Um, Jacinta said these dudes are acting like they all of a sudden don't understand what they signed up for, a marriage. It pisses you off. I think so far the only one, I would say Jackson know what he's here for. Jack is definitely knowing what he's here for. Al is trying. He's trying. Brent, I think, and we'll talk about him next. Brent and Tamara. Brent looked like he was definitely trying to get Tamara out of her comfort zone, but that's a whole nother conversation. But I would say half of these guys, and even Anthony, it seems that Anthony wants to be in a relationship too. There's footage today of Ella and Brent at the beach this weekend. Really? Can you, DI4J, can you get me that footage, please? If you got Instagram, slide into my DM and send me that footage. So, and guys, those that live in Australia, if you got any spoilers or anything, people send me things all the time for both the US and for other shows. So if you got some tips, some news, whatever, go over to, and my Instagram handle is right there on the screen, Romance Review TV. Slide into my DMs and drop the tea if you have some. Look, Mary is like, please, please, please. Yeah. Mary, I'm right there with you. Please, 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 pretty please, with ice cream and sprinkles. Looking loved up too. Are you serious? Uh, can you, where did you see that? Let me know if you want to even drop it here. Because I know maybe some of the other people in the chat wants to know as well. So let me know. Let all of us know if other folks are interested as well. All right, but yeah, these two, it'll be interesting. Maybe they are still together. That would be cool. Um, I really, Jacinta said, I don't really understand what the heck is going on with Tamara and Brent, but they just seem to have very incompatible personalities. Tamara don't seem to know how to respect the differences. That is true. There's a spoiler that Liv and Jackson have moved in. Okay, you guys, you dropping all the spoilers. I want to know where to find them. Shamanda said, no spoilers, please. I want to finish the show. Okay. All right. We're going to stop right there. We'll stop. No more spoilers, guys. Listen, if you got spoilers, send them over in my DMs. If you have Instagram, or email me. You can email me at romancereviewtv@gmail.com because I'm in the States, so it's .com. So email me. Email me or slide into my DMs and you can drop tea and spoilers, okay? Mary says, remember what I said about couple switching. Listen, don't drop any more spoilers. Hopefully that's not a spoiler you talking about, Mary. Unless you're just trying to give a recommendation. I don't know. Okay. All right, let's move on to Brent and Tamara. Yes, yes, yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? How about now? Testing, 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 testing. Say yes in the comment if you can hear me. Okay, good, good, good. I don't know what keep happening. Maybe it's the internet. Sometimes I have like little tweaks in my Wi-Fi or something. Okay. So what I was saying about tomorrow. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Hello? Hello, hello, hello. You can hear me? Okay. I don't know what's going on. We got to keep it moving. I don't know. I don't want to get cut off. All right. So, did you guys hear what Demonica said? Do you think she know a lot more about what's going on with Tamara and Brent? Because she said this is going to be good under her breath. So these two have been real petty with each other, right? And she actually got so mad or whatever that happened with him because it all started about volume on the TV. And then she got mad and called him this, I think, CUNT. Is that correct, guys? And then Tamara talking about how she can see a tendency in Brent and that aggression he has, and he's been screaming at me, and it shows a lack of respect and trust for him is very, very low. And Brent looked like he was blindsided. I believe she did swear at him. I believe it too. I believe it too. That whole what Tamara is, I mean, her calling him a C bomb. I'll just say it like that. Why would you do that? And I mean, Brent said he described it. He saw. Uh, you can't hear me? Hello, 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 hello. Hello. Wouldn't calling someone at see you next Tuesday be aggressive as she claimed he is. It's so disrespectful. It sure is very disrespectful. It's very, very disrespectful of how she treated him. You know, I mean, you don't call somebody that. That's crazy. However, after all of this nonsense, Brent decides to stay, saying that his gut is telling him to keep trying. And I'm like, why? Why? And then Tamara's like, yeah, we should stay because we have a lot of great times together. I mean, it's like, really? I don't know. What do you guys think about the whole Brent and Tamara situation? And Brent asked Tamara for a week with nothing negative, and Tamara asked him for patience with her. I- Tamara got to just chill. I think this group is all messed up except for the lovebirds. Yeah, I mean there are some hopes in there. Like I say with Jack and Dominica, Olivia and Jackson, maybe Ella and Mitch. But other than that, that's pretty much it. These two are in it for the likes. They seem to be screaming at each other most of the time. I mean, pretty much. I mean, they did good for the first week. They were playing around with each other, got her to laugh, got her to let her guard down, and then all of a sudden, when she told him at the last commitment ceremony that she don't know if he's good enough for her, it became a problem. Vanessa says, I think it's toxic and they're not good together. Yeah, at this point, I honestly think Brent need to move on. Both of them. They need to move on from each other. Maggie says she got major issues. No way there's hope there. Nope. this I don't know, she has something similar like a princess mentality. I think Brent saying nothing negative is unrealistic because if a conflict pop up, is he just gonna blow up? Yeah, that makes sense, Jacinta. I mean, they needed to go their separate ways. I mean, he was trying hard in the beginning and it worked for a hot second. And then all of a sudden, was she faking it? They both need to learn how to communicate with each other and respect each other's differences. Yep, they do. And I mean, the thing is, I honestly think Brent is willing to work with her. That's the thing. He's willing to do that. But because she just fly off the handle, she projects, she'll start the problems and then say that it was your fault that we're fighting. That's a very toxic situation. If I'm going to start a fight with someone and the person wasn't part of that, and they're blindsided, but I start a fight with somebody and then I blame you for the fight that I started, yeah, that's toxic. Yep, they both need to move on. They need to move on and just, you know, go their separate ways. Brent will have no problem finding another lady who wants to be with him, whether he is a producer in Dubai or if he's a hospitality manager. Tomorrow. Oh my goodness. Hello, 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 hello. Hello. How about now? Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? How about that? Can you hear me? Oh, you can hear me now? Okay, great. Yeah, so I don't think these two are going to work. I honestly think that these two are not going to work. She's looking for a different type of guy. She's definitely looking for a different type of guy, and it ain't Brent. I mean, he tried in the beginning to break those walls down to get her to relax, get her to laugh, get her to have fun, and she seemed like she was enjoying it. But then she turned around and said, I don't know if he's going to be enough for me. And everything went downhill from that point forward. Only season 1 and 2 had the most authentic couple. Nowadays, there are very few genuine couples. Yeah, that's true. Maggie says she's princess and too controlling. Very much so. You know, and it's just so unfortunate because they actually make a good looking couple. And I think if she let those walls down and get rid of the pretentious attitude, Brent could be a great guy for her. But she just won't allow it. She's still stuck on this other stuff on whether or not he's going to be enough. DI4J says she wants a rich man to spoil her. Probably so. If she has that pretentious attitude, absolutely. Absolutely. Do you think this can work at all? Does this have even a slither of chance working. What do you think? You think it can work? I think if she kind of chill out, was it true and control him? You think she's trying to control him? Oh, okay. You guys said no. Not even a slither, huh? Well, yeah. I think and it's all on her. I think he really wanted it to work. Tamara is just looking for something different. Yeah, yeah, no chance, huh? Oh, you say yes, Maggie? You think it has a chance? Wow. Well, I guess we have to see because it's not looking good right now. Vanessa says if she is so picky and set on the man she wants, then why let strangers pick a husband for you? Exactly. And that's whether it's on the Australian side or on the US side. Why come on a show and let experts arrange a marriage for you and pick somebody for you if you're that picky yourself? It doesn't make sense. Um oh, you were saying yes to another question. Okay, I got you, Maggie. Jacinta said, I think it could, but again, this is another case of should it. I think it shouldn't because they just aren't what each other really want and they'll both be settling. Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. You know, honestly, I truly think that he tried, but it's just not going to work with her. And he's going to be one of those guys that, once they break up, he's going to be one of those guys that's going to have a lot of women in his DMs too. Mary says he thought he could deal with her, but apparently he never came across a princess before. Yeah. And if she continued that attitude, she's going to be continue to be single. I mean, she might get dates, but another marriage, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Unless there's a guy who's willing to, you know, deal with what she's looking for. That's the only thing that I can think of. Um so I mean, all in all, it was a pretty good commitment ceremony for commitment ceremony number 2. Um I'm glad Holly and Andrew are moving on and that's over. Jackson and Olivia, they're going to be fine unless something crazy come up. Dominica and Jack, we're going to see craziness this week. I don't know what the heck. I don't know what to believe with Anthony and Celine. Cody and Selena. I don't know about that one. I mean, she's putting in a lot of work. I need to see more from Cody to see how genuine he is. Ella and Mitch. Now, somebody was dropping some gems earlier, so I have to keep my eye on those two. Al and Sam. Poor Al. Sam has to allow him the space to be the man that she wants, and when he does the work, she has to acknowledge it. And then Brent and Tamara. Brent, this ain't gonna work for you, dude. I mean, she's looking for a different type of guy. All right, what we got in the chat? An attitude started at the wedding with the cutlery. Yeah, that whole crazy thing, Shamunda, with the whole upside down knife cutting the cake, and she wanted him to apologize for that. That was crazy. Vanessa said he's a good looking man, so many women will be sliding into his DMs. Absolutely. Jacinta said, I think she deserves better than Cody. And Sam is giving Al too many mixed signals. That's the perfect phrase. Mixed signals. And when we talked about them a little earlier, her saying, I want you to be intimate with me or show intimacy without somebody directing you to. But then when he tries to show intimacy, she tells him no. That's mixed signals. He don't know what to do. He don't know what to do. You want him to touch you, but then when he does it, you don't want him to do it. It doesn't make sense. Um and then Rebel says, I can't wait to see the new couples. Yeah, me too. We got a couple of new weddings this week, guys. One of them looked like a bridezilla. So we'll definitely have to see what's going to happen with the two new couples. Hey, somebody answer me this question in the chat. How many episodes is it normally for this season? Because with them bringing on two new couples, we got to go through seeing how they progress now, and we still have 7 couples from the original part of the season. So let me know. Because I know US version does not add new couples and they go for 8 weeks. So well, they're married for 8 weeks. The episodes might be 3 months, but the couples are married for 8 weeks. Alyssa said 32 episodes. Oh wow. Okay, so we are at episode 13. So we're not even halfway there. Okay, so we got a little whiles to go. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. I see sabotage on purpose with some of these people. Yep, that is true. Um, Alyssa says so the month of March and the remainder of February. Okay, cool. Because I like to know what I'm working with and how much, how much content we'll have to do together so I can prepare and plan. So I was wondering, so you 32 episodes. I know in the US it usually goes to 16, maybe 18 episodes. So Australia is longer than the US version. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this week, guys. Looking forward to seeing the new couples. What is Dominica going to do to sabotage her relationship with Jack, trying to talk trash about him in front of the other in front of the other couples? That's terrible. So we'll have to wait and see. So I'm not going to keep you guys long. I know yesterday our live lasted 3 hours, but we covered 2 shows yesterday. So we covered Australia and we covered US yesterday. So I'm going to do that moving forward at the end of the week. So look out for those notifications. Also continue to look out for the episodes and also all right, guys.